Hello everyone. We are back again with our second tier ranking video of 2022, which is all of the TV shows I've binged or are currently in like the current season of for this year. So like some of these are made like most of the season has probably aired already in the end of 2022, and but it's on their winter break right now and will continue on in 2023. So like some of these are kind of like yeah, it counts, but like I know another one I'm currently watching. There's only like 2 episodes so far that have aired for the new season this year, so that's gonna not I'm not gonna really count that in 2022 because the bulk of the season is gonna be in 2023. So that'll be on next year's tier rank video. If that makes any sense. I don't have a huge list here. I haven't watched a whole lot of television, or like the shows that I did watch are longer shows, so it took me a little bit more time to get through them. But so we are back. We have Miss Amber here. If you can see up on the top there, is a little Brina on the top of the. Oh, wrong one. Shift them a little bit. They're napping. Okay, so I'm just coming off of my movie tier ranking, which took a hell of a lot of time. It got really dark in the room, so I tried to put some lights on to give you some um light. I could set my ring light up, but I didn't, so because who cares. But this one again is not going to take as long. I don't have nearly as many TV shows as movies. So let's get on here so I can show you guys the rankings. Okay, so now we have First Ton is top tier, lives up to the hype. Like this is a movie or a TV show that was super hyped, probably won a ton of awards that I maybe would have been skeptical about, but finally got to around to watching it and be like, yes, I understand now why it has gotten so popular. Surprise! This is a show that I maybe knew nothing about, and I watched it and I was really surprised by how much I actually enjoyed it, or a show that I didn't think I would like at all, but I was actually really surprised by it. The middle one is sure, I'll continue watching the show. It'll probably be something I just put on because I want something to watch while I'm eating, or just something to watch as background noise or something. Like I'll just continue watching it, or I'm like just invested enough that I want to know what's happening, but it's like not the greatest thing I've ever watched. Lackluster uh, pretty much speaks for itself. It's a show that I'm disappointed by. It may have been a really popular show that I just wasn't impressed by. And then just cancel it. Horrible. Why is it still on TV? I don't want to watch any more of it. It's just why. Okay, so these are again in the order in which I watched them. The first one, actually, the only murders in the building. This is actually for season one. I know as of right now, season two has come out already, but I have not. Like, I was just watching season one at the beginning of the year. So, yeah. So this one was Martin Short, Steve Martin, Selena Gomez. Like, an interesting. I mean, Martin Short and Steve Martin, would work well together, and then you have Selena Gomez, and you're just like, really? Okay. So I don't know how hyped this was. I think this was, I don't know. This is a surprise for me because I think this one wasn't, I just didn't know how it was going to meld together, like how Selena Gomez would fit in with these like comedic giants. But I was really pleasantly surprised by the show. I do want to watch season two. I don't have Hulu currently, which is why I haven't watched season two yet. I kind of like alternate my streaming services, so I'm not paying a shit ton of money for things just to watch like a couple episodes. So like right now I have Paramount Plus and I'm watching what I want to watch on Paramount Plus, and I have Prime, but I always have Prime. And then I'll eventually like I'll get Netflix back. Anyway, next we have Murderville. This was a Netflix show that was based on again a British show, and it was an interesting concept because is it what's his name, David Arquette is a detective. He plays a character. Then you have these guest celebrities that come on and play themselves. So there's a murder they have to solve. They get bare minimum script or almost no script at all, have no idea what's going on, and then he has script, and like the other people, like the other actors, side characters have a script. They know what's happening, but it's the celebrity guest that has to figure out who done it, collect the evidence, ask the questions, and just improv it the entire episode pretty much. It was a really interesting concept. um it's definitely gonna be something like sure like I'll watch it just to see who else they have on, because I know Annie Murphy was on an episode, which was one of the worst episodes, by the way. Like, she was so awkward, but she was adorable. And I forget, there was another actress, Sharon Stone, I think, was on it and was phenomenal. Like, her episode was really good. And then there was someone else who was on it too that I was like, this is interesting. But it's definitely, it's an interesting show. I'll have it on, like, once I get Netflix back. I'll probably watch it if it's still, I don't even know if it's still renewed for another season or not, but we'll see. Okay, NCIS. So I did a rewatch from like season 6 on, and I think we're in season 20 or something right now. So I rewatched the entire show because I was behind a couple of seasons. So I rewatched it from season 6 all the way up through to the current season, which they are currently in the middle of. I think they just had their winter break. And NCIS is just, it's not a surprise for me. I don't even know where to put this, because NCIS is one of those shows that is like a comfort show to me. I've watched it so many times over the years that it's just a show that I can have on in the background and just enjoy. And one that it's not on here, actually, that I should put on here, is Heartland, because that's another show that is a not a guilty pleasure show, a purely pleasure show, that I will watch over and over and over again. And that one has season 16 is currently airing, and I forgot to put that on here, but anyway, that's an honorable mention. That would be, so NCIS, I don't know how the hype is still there like it used to be. It used to be like one of the top shows. I assume it still is. I honestly don't pay attention, to be frank, but it's still one of my absolute favorite shows that I will watch over and over and over again. So it's always going to live up the hype for me, even without Mark Harmon. But I think Gary Cole is a decent enough replacement for him. And I really like Wilmer Valderrama on it now. And I like the new cast, to be honest. I do. I'm of course I miss the originals, but I like having Tim on there, and still, and just Jimmy's still there, and like you still get to see glimpses of them, but I don't know, I enjoy it. All right, Bridgerton. So this is Bridgerton season 2. This is Anthony and Kate's story, which is book 2. Bridgerton is just one of those ones that I don't know if it was a surprise. Like, it's hyped. I don't know where to put this. I probably should have renamed these, because now I'm like, I don't know what to do. Does it live up to the hype? Yeah, you know what? It does, because they took an old book series, historical romance book series, and made it into a franchise. And they did it fairly well. I will say that season 3 may not have the same reception from me, because season 3 is actually book 4, which is upsetting to me, that they pushed Benedict and Sophie's story in favor of Penelope and Colin, which is not one of my favorites. So, but that's not what this is for season 2. This is Anthony and Kate. I like that we get to see Daphne in this. We don't get to see Simon, which I don't. I think there is a scene in book 2 with him in it. I think the croquet scene he's supposed to be in. But anyway, um, it's fun. I enjoy the show. I will keep watching it. Just because I want Benedict and Sophie's storyline, and they better have an entire season to themselves, because if they have to overlap it with next season, I'm gonna be pissed. Pissed. Also, I want Francesca's story. Hers is one of my favorite books. So yeah, Benedict and Francesca are the ones I'm really looking forward to. All right, Call the Midwife. This is season 10. Season 10. I think I watched the whole show, the whole series of this last year as well, and really, really enjoyed it. I was waiting, highly anticipating the new season. I can't remember what happens in the season. And I'm like, I was looking to see if I had missed, like, I couldn't remember which season, if their new season aired or not, which ones I had seen, which ones I haven't seen, because they all blended together. But it's a really good show. It wasn't really a surprise. The series itself was a surprise to me, because I wasn't sure how I would enjoy it. You know what? I'm gonna put that here because just the series, it was something that I was in my period drama era last summer after I watched Downton Abbey. I wanted something else to watch, and this was something that just I was like, okay, let me watch it and try it, and I binged through the entire thing and was very surprised by how much I actually enjoyed it. So just as a series as a whole, it was a surprise. Oh, The Offer. This was good. Was it a surprise? No. You know what? I knew this was going to be a really good show. This was on, I think it was on Paramount Plus as well. This is about the making of the movie The Godfather, and you got Francis Ford Coppola. You have the directors and the producers, and you have the mafia that was involved with the production, and it was just really Miles Teller, who we saw if you watched my movie Tier Rank, was in Top Gun Maverick. This is around the same time this came out. Fantastic cast. We have Jacob Kowalski from Fantastic Beasts is in this. He plays Francis Ford Coppola. You got Justin Chambers from Grey's Anatomy playing Marlon Brando. It's a great cast. It's a great show, limited series that I highly recommend. Even if you've never seen The Godfather, just watch it. It is just great. They have a few there's a few scenes that are parallel to the production of the movie. Just great. It's fantastic. I highly recommend this show. Honestly, just it's great. Okay, next we have Grace and Frankie season 7, the last season. Enjoyable and not a surprise. I don't think let me be honest. Season 7 I don't think quite lived up to the caliber of the previous seasons, in my opinion. So I think this is going to be a surprise in that I didn't enjoy it as much as the other seasons in this series. Still really fun, great show, highly recommend it. It's a good time, a good laugh. Great cast as well. A League of Their Own. This was a surprise. I didn't think I would like this. I liked the original movie. I was very, very skeptical about the TV show, because I'm one of those people that doesn't think you should mess with a good thing. The movie was great. The show was very good. It does have a little bit of it's more modern. It has like, I would say it's a more woke show because you have our main character is questioning her sexuality a lot in it. We have a um there's a lot of queer, lesbian, bi characters in the show, which was an interesting twist on it. I mean, it makes sense given the context. Women playing baseball. This was during, was it World War II? I forget which era this was. When all the men were off to war and the women were having to step in and take over men's roles in both industry and recreation. They had the sports. It was to, for their country, lifting the spirits of the general population. Um, Interesting show. We have also cameo from, I think it was this show. Rosie O'Donnell. There's a cameo from her in this. She runs a like a lesbian bar, like an underground lesbian bar. So interesting. It's a good show. I was surprised that I actually enjoyed it as much as I did, just because of the connection to the original movie. The modern Mrs. or Marvel the marvelous Mrs. Maisel lives up to the hype. Okay. This was a one. This was a show that I would actually put it unsurprised because I was seeing this show everywhere. Emmy nominations, Golden Globes, everywhere. Everyone was hyping about this show, and I was like, yeah, okay. It is phenomenal. I binged. There's four seasons, I think. I binged it. It was so good. Please go watch it. Fantastic. It's about also Amy Sherman Palladino is the creator, who also she did Gilmore Girls and Bunheads, and let me tell you, this is like top tier, top tier TV show. So we have she's a Jewish, it's a Jewish community. We got Tony Shalhoub in it, man. Great. She is I think it's in the 50s, a housewife. Her husband's trying to make it as a comedian on the stage. He's terrible at it. She finds out that she's really good at it. We have Alex Borstein, who we know Amy Sherman Palladino loves to use in her stuff. She is fantastic. She plays the manager of the bar slash comedy club that Midge I guess performs at, becomes her manager. She goes on tour. She meets all these famous people. It's a great show. Just go watch it. You won't be disappointed. At least I don't think it would, because I really enjoyed it. Okay, next we have Ghosts. This is the US adaptation of the UK show Ghosts. I have not watched the UK show. I haven't been able to find it on a streaming source that I don't have to pay for. But this is the US version of Ghosts with, she's an Australian actor. I think she's Australian. She played Tinkerbell in Once Upon a Time. Can't remember what her name is, but those are great. It's a great show. They're a young couple who she inherits a house from her late aunt or somebody or some late relative that dies. Inherits a house that's haunted by ghosts of all different centuries, and she ends up having an accident where she can suddenly see them all and interact with them all, and it's like a comedy, like a sitcom sort of thing. um it's a fun show. I think this was surprise. It was one of those shows I put on a whim just to have some. It was a short episodes, or like 20-minute episodes. I just wanted something short to watch while I was eating, which is usually how I watch all of this stuff. But it was fun. It's a fun time. It's quick, interesting. Okay. So help me, Todd. This was one that another one I just kind of on a whim put on. I like Marsha Gay Harden. I like Skylar Astin. So this is what we have. I never heard of this show before. It just popped up as like a recommendation. I was like, okay, sure. Let me see what this is about. It was interesting. So she is a lawyer. He is like a detective, I guess, who loses his license for whatever reason. And now he starts working for her, like helping her solve different cases. So it's like a kind of a case of the week sort of situation. And it's fun. It's interesting. I should say I was surprised by it. It's just now it's one of those shows that I just kind of, whenever the new episode comes on, I just put it on and watch it at some point, and I'll probably continue watching it if it gets more than one. They're still in the middle of season 1. They're on their winter break again, like everything else is right now. So, yeah, it's an interesting show for sure, y'all. 1883 needs no introduction. This show, fantastic. This was a show, again, it came out in like the end of 2021. I didn't watch it until a month or so ago. Um, it I've never watched Yellowstone. This is a Yellowstone prequel show about the Duttons, the wagon trails west, and it's literally a road trip through the Oregon Trail. And let me tell you, the cinematography of this show, it's got like, dare I compare it to like Game of Thrones level cinematography. I mean, you don't need the special effects or anything. It takes place in like I don't know if it's in Montana, but a lot of it, I know, like 1923, the new show, the sequel to this that's currently out, is takes place in Montana, but this is like the Old West, the Wild West. I watched a behind the scenes thing about this show with Taylor Sheridan, who by the way played the deputy on Sons of Anarchy, but he's the creator of 1883, and how his goal was to be as accurate and politically correct, historically correct as possible. So everything was sourced appropriately. Everything was period appropriate, period accurate. events and the way things happened and occurred was accurate. The research, this show is amazing. It's amazing. The story, the cast, you got Tim McGraw and Faith Hill playing a married couple, being a married couple. You got Sam Elliott. You got freaking Taylor Sheridan is in it for a couple episodes. You got, like, it's amazing. It's an amazing show. Um, just watch it. I mean, it's a little bit not for the faint of heart. Things happen, but it's fantastic. I have not watched Yellowstone. Like I said, I will watch this. I'm currently watching 1923, which is just as good, but not something I'm not going to talk about it in this because only 2 episodes have been out so far. So you'll see that at the end of next year. But let me tell you, it's just as good as this one. So these two are really good. And if these two are as good as, or if Yellowstone's as good as these two, then I'll probably end up starting to watch that as well at some point when I can get. It's not on Paramount Plus for whatever reason, so I have to find a streaming service to watch it on, but it's great. Next, we have The Summer I Turned Pretty. This is based on a young adult book or trilogy, I think, which I have not read. But I just wanted something like lighter and fun to watch. So this is again not necessarily. It kind of falls in the same thing as Love and Gelato, where it I'm kind of like not in the age range it's meant for, but it had me invested. It had me hooked. So when season 2 comes out, I'm gonna keep watching it because I want to watch what happens. I want to know who she ends up with. Although if you read the books, I'm sure you already know, but I haven't, so I don't know. Okay, and then we have Criminal Minds Evolution. This I started recently, but I'm caught up so far to however many episodes are out so far. I used to love Criminal Minds. Okay, it was kind of on the same level as NCIS, where I would just watch it over and over again. It was just so good. And then now we have this new season of Evolution, which comes after COVID. And you have, first of all, Zach Gilford, who was freaking Matt Saracen in Friday Night Lights, is the like mastermind villain in this show. Like, what is happening? It's crazy to watch it. But it's like he's like this mastermind villain that because of COVID, he wasn't able to continue killing people, obviously, because the world was on lockdown. So he had this like online network of murderers that he made. And this whole season of it is just them trying to track down the mastermind behind this whole network of serial killers, because there's like these cases, these pre-made murder cases that are all throughout and found and buried throughout the United States that these people are finding to use to murder their victims. It's a wild show. And you have all the main players back except for Shamar Moore, obviously because he's on his own show now, and Matthew Gray Gubler is not in it. But like everyone else is back except for Hotchner, but we all know that he is whatever. But it's great. It's good. I don't know if there's hype surrounding it or not. Like I haven't really paid attention to that. Criminal Minds is one of those, again, like NCIS, it's one of those shows that's been on for so goddamn long that it's just kind of like a staple. It's like an American staple now. NCIS, Law and Order, SVU, Criminal Minds, CSI, they're just like there. And I think they're always there. So it's like one of those. I don't know. Is it live up to hype? Surprised. I don't know. It goes in here somewhere. It's so interesting. I think we're gonna put this one in surprise just because it surprised me they were able to kind of carry on the legacy of Criminal Minds. Now my honorable mention is one that I started watching today actually, which is CSI Vegas. Now there are so many CSIs. You have CSI, the original CSI, which takes place in Vegas. This is it, which is kind of confusing if you've never watched CSI before. So CSI is Vegas. Then you have CSI New York, CSI Miami, CSI whatever. There's like a million of them. Then you have CSI Vegas. They ended the original CSI. All the freaking main characters left. Everyone, whatever. Now you have CSI Vegas, which is kind of a reboot of the original CSI, and you have a different cast of characters, but you have oldies coming back to reprise roles and have like what do you call it? Like their own kind of storylines. I know, so I know there's 2 seasons out right now. They're in the middle of this, or almost done with the second season. I'm only in the middle of season 1, so it kind of doesn't really count for this, which is why it's just an honorable mention. But you have Georgia Fox and Will Patterson. Sarah and Gil are back this season, and then next season I know Catherine Marg Helgenberger, whatever, Catherine Willows, she's back. You have in this season you have Hodges is back, and he's like being framed for murder. Like it's you got the oldies that come back for like little snippets of things, and then you have all these new characters. And the fun fact about this season is the main like woman head of the unit is Paula. Can't remember her name. She played Director Vance's wife in NCIS before she was, spoiler, killed off of that show, and now she has her own leading role in CSI Vegas, which makes me so happy because she is such a great actress. We're done. I thought that had nothing to do with this year's tier ranking, but this is my tier ranking. I didn't really have anything that was like awful. Most of the stuff, if I watched it, I just never finished it. Like one of them was All American. I started watching it. I got really invested. I was in like season 2, and then I gave up. It was like probably it'd be under lackluster for me. It just I kind of got tired of watching it. It didn't keep me invested throughout I think there's like 5 seasons right now. But so yeah, so this is my TV show ranking for this year. Not quite as exciting as my movie ranking, but I just still wanted to do it anyway. So let me know what you guys thought of any of these shows, if you would rank them differently. If you have any more to add or any recommendations for me, I would love to hear. And that's it. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.